Very physical game. It was really hard to get from A to B. But in the end, I think just our resiliency paid off and a little, like you said, a bit of our experience, and we just made some shots.
When the Sky squared off against the Liberty in what should have been a marquee WNBA matchup, the arena told a story no one expected. Just 200 fans scattered across thousands of empty seats. The usual roar, energy, and spectacle were gone, replaced by a haunting silence. For the commissioner, witnessing this stark reality was more than a disappointment. It was a moment of alarm, a symbol of the league's fragility. So, what led to such a collapse, and why did it drive the league's top official to walk out in frustration? This is the shocking story. A league exposed. The WNBA's fragility was brutally exposed during the recent Sky versus Liberty matchup, a game that promised excitement, but instead descended into an almost surreal display of emptiness. What should have been a high-profile electric contest turned into a stark reminder of the league's precarious position. Only around 200 fans dotted the seats, leaving vast swathes of the arena eerily vacant. The sight was jarring, especially when compared to previous sellout events, where the atmosphere had been charged with energy, cheers, and palpable enthusiasm. The contrast could not have been more striking. This was far more than a disappointing attendance figure. It was a visual representation of a league whose success increasingly relies on the presence of a single superstar, Caitlin Clark. Reports indicate that the commissioner, upon witnessing the near-empty stands, left the arena in visible frustration. Whether this walkout was a literal retreat or a symbolic gesture, it perfectly captured the growing anxiety and despair among league officials. The moment crystallized a difficult truth. Without Caitlin Clark, fan interest falters, ticket sales plummet, and media coverage diminishes. Her absence transforms arenas from vibrant hubs of excitement into ghostly shells of what they could and should be. In other words, the Sky versus Liberty game became an unwitting exposé, revealing how dependent the league has become on one extraordinary talent. The implications extend far beyond a single lackluster game. For years, the WNBA has sought to cultivate its stars and build a sustainable fan base, yet the reality is painfully clear. When Clark is off the court, the league struggles to maintain momentum. Every empty seat and every canceled cheer underscores a structural vulnerability that cannot be ignored. The Sky versus Liberty matchup, intended to showcase top-tier basketball, instead served as a dramatic warning shot, highlighting the fragility of the league's current model. The dependence on one player raises urgent questions about the WNBA's long-term strategy. Can the league grow and thrive if so much attention, revenue, and fan engagement hinge on a single athlete? The commissioner's walkout, whether interpreted as shock, frustration, or a silent plea for change, symbolically reflected the magnitude of the problem. It was not merely about attendance, it was about the league's identity, its sustainability, and the stark reality that the WNBA's brightest moment can fade quickly without its star power front and center. In the end, the Sky versus Liberty game was a wake-up call. It showed that even in a professional sports league filled with talent and promise, structural dependence on one individual can leave it vulnerable. The visual of a nearly empty arena, coupled with the commissioner's dramatic exit, was a stark, unforgettable reminder. The WNBA's fortunes and its very credibility are tied to Caitlin Clark, and the league cannot afford to ignore that truth any longer. The WNBA's future now depends entirely on Caitlin Clark's presence and performance. But how does the relentless pressure and constant targeting of this superstar shape not only her game, but the league's very stability? And could the WNBA truly survive and thrive without her? Or has it become too reliant on her extraordinary talent? Let's uncover the details. The engine of the league. Caitlin Clark is not merely a basketball player. She is the lifeblood of the WNBA, a force whose presence reshapes the very fabric of the league. Every time she steps onto the court, arenas that once echoed with occasional applause suddenly roar with anticipation. Fans flock in droves, eager to witness her masterful play and undeniable charisma. Television ratings spike, social media buzzes with highlights of her performances, and sponsors take notice, pouring resources into games that have become must-watch events. Clark has the rare ability to transform an ordinary matchup into a spectacle, turning local contests into nationally recognized showcases, capturing the imagination of fans and critics alike. Simply put, she elevates every aspect of the league, drawing attention and admiration in ways no other player has ever managed. Yet the very brilliance that makes Clark indispensable also brings immense pressure. Her extraordinary talent paints a target on her back, as opponents frequently employ aggressive fouls and physical tactics designed to slow her down, intimidate her, or force mistakes. Each collision, each jarring play carries with it the risk of injury, an ever-present shadow that Clark must navigate every time she laces up her sneakers. Even minor injuries, a groin strain, a bruised quad, or any other setback, have far-reaching consequences that extend well beyond her own health. When she is sidelined, the ripple effect is immediate and undeniable. Ticket sales slump, television viewership drops sharply, and arenas that once thrummed with excitement feel hollow and lifeless. The economic engine she fuels slows, leaving team owners, sponsors, and league officials scrambling to maintain stability. Clark's absence is more than just a missing player on the court. It is the temporary loss of a cornerstone that supports the league itself. The WNBA's reliance on her talent and star power is both a testament to her unmatched impact and a warning sign about the fragility of the league's current structure. Her influence is so profound that her presence, or lack thereof, dictates the mood of entire arenas, the enthusiasm of fan bases, and the financial health of teams. In an era where leagues often boast multiple stars to share the spotlight, the WNBA's dependence on Caitlin Clark is glaringly evident. She is not only the heart of the Indiana Fever, but also the pulse that keeps the league's momentum alive. Without her, the WNBA struggles to maintain the energy, excitement, and financial vigor that she brings effortlessly, highlighting both her monumental importance and the urgent need for the league to nurture and protect its brightest star. Caitlin Clark is more than a player. She is the heartbeat of women's basketball, and every move she makes echoes across the sport. But can anyone match her ability to fill arenas, boost TV ratings, and energize fans? Or is she truly one of a kind? Now, let's explore how NBA praise shapes her legacy. Praise, advice, and respect for the WNBA's rising star. Caitlin Clark has not only transformed the Indiana Fever, she has reshaped the WNBA's landscape. Her talent, work ethic, and winning mentality have energized arenas and drawn fans nationwide, making her impossible to ignore. Every time she steps on the court, the atmosphere changes. Tickets sell out, TV ratings surge, and excitement fills the air. It is no surprise that NBA stars, accustomed to greatness, are now taking notice and publicly praising her. Throughout Caitlin Clark's rookie season, NBA stars like Kobe White and Patrick Beverley have become some of her most vocal admirers. White praises her dazzling highlights, record-breaking feats, and masterful control of the game, even calling her legit after witnessing her milestones firsthand. Beverley agrees, noting how Clark's presence commands unparalleled attention across the league. Despite constant physical fouls and aggressive defense, she continues to rise above, proving her game isn't just about strength. It's about extraordinary skill, precision, and dominance that set her apart. European phenom Luka Doncic, known for his competitive fire, also weighed in, praising Clark as one of the best shooters in the game, even suggesting she could rival his own abilities. Comparisons have also been drawn to Tyrese Halliburton, highlighting their shared skill in three-point shooting and playmaking, as well as their impact in basketball-focused regions. Halliburton has expressed excitement about Clark joining the Indiana Fever, noting her ability to energize the city and inspire teammates. Shaquille O'Neal offered another powerful endorsement, praising Clark on Angel Reese's podcast and highlighting her ability to thrive under pressure. Lakers star Anthony Davis, familiar with the scrutiny of hype and rookie pressure, lauded her tenacity and grace in handling criticism, while Michael Porter Jr. even speculated how her talent might translate to the NBA, a rare acknowledgement of her exceptional skill. LeBron James, who understands the burden of extraordinary expectations better than most, shared guidance directly for Clark. Stay humble, stay focused, and learn from veterans. His advice emphasized discipline and patience in the face of intense media attention and competitive pressure, a path Caitlin has embraced while excelling as a student of the game. Even Trae Young has praised her basketball IQ and her ability to read defenses, create shots, and involve teammates, highlighting a skill set that mirrors the all-time greats. Steph Curry, too, has noted her exceptional shooting mechanics and floor awareness, pointing out that her game goes far beyond her three-point range. She is a true performer who elevates her team at every opportunity. Draymond Green and Victor Wanyama added context, reminding audiences that Clark's rise comes atop the foundation laid by past WNBA greats, and comparing her meteoric impact to their own experiences as highly hyped rookies entering competitive leagues. Her influence is undeniable. Packed arenas, surging viewership, and NBA stars' recognition mark her as the new face of the league. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's a generational talent shaping the WNBA. But how much does the league depend on her? And could declining attendance, stalled revenue, and inconsistent player protection signal a looming crisis? Now let's unravel how Clark's presence and absence truly impact the future of the WNBA, the Sky versus Liberty catastrophe. The impact of Caitlin Clark's absence on the WNBA is as stark as the nearly empty stands that greeted fans at the Sky versus Liberty matchup. When Clark is off the court, the numbers tell a chilling story. National television viewership plunges by more than half, dropping from an already impressive 1.8 million viewers to under 850,000. The arenas, which normally hum with energy and excitement, fall silent. Ticket prices for the Indiana Fever, the team she leads, have plummeted dramatically, from peaks exceeding $860 to mere fractions of that amount, illustrating how much the league relies on her presence to draw paying crowds. Merchandise sales stagnate, sponsors hesitate, and even casual fans lose interest, leaving once thriving arenas eerily quiet. The recent Sky versus Liberty game served as the clearest, most visible example of this fragile reality. What should have been a marquee matchup, an event fans circled on their calendars, turned into a disheartening spectacle. Only around 200 spectators trickled into the stadium, scattered across the seats, leaving vast, empty sections that made the event feel more like a practice session than a professional league showdown. The contrast with past sellout games, where the roar of the crowd and the electric atmosphere were impossible to ignore, was striking. This wasn't simply a disappointing turnout, it was a vivid illustration of the WNBA's over-reliance on a single player to drive engagement, viewership, and financial stability. Fans, frustrated not just by Clark's absence but also by injuries to other stars, inconsistent officiating, and a perceived lack of protection for the league's premier talent, stayed away in droves. The commissioner's walkout, reportedly in response to the empty stands, became a symbolic moment, reflecting a broader sense of unease within league leadership. The message was undeniable. The WNBA, despite its growing popularity, is teetering on a dangerous edge, vulnerable whenever its most compelling attraction is unavailable. Clark's influence extends far beyond scoring points on the court. She is the engine that powers television ratings, fills arenas, drives merchandise sales, and attracts sponsorships. Her absence exposes a structural weakness that few outside the inner circle of league officials fully appreciate. The league's economic and cultural stability is dangerously intertwined with her ability to perform and remain healthy. Each missed game ripples across the WNBA ecosystem, affecting revenue, media coverage, and fan engagement, revealing a startling truth. Without Caitlin Clark, the league struggles to sustain its momentum, leaving executives, players, and fans alike confronting the fragility of the sport they love. The Sky versus Liberty disaster was more than an isolated event. It was a wake-up call. It underscored a pressing reality. The WNBA cannot afford to depend so heavily on a single superstar, and unless structural safeguards, consistent player protection, and strategic promotion are implemented, the league risks repeating these painful collapses, threatening its long-term survival. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA teeters, arenas empty, ratings tumble, and its future grows uncertain. But how much of the league's success truly rests on her shoulders? And can it survive if aggressive targeting of its brightest stars continues unchecked? And what reforms are needed to safeguard talent and secure lasting stability? Let's uncover the daring truth. The WNBA's struggle to protect its biggest star. Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan has been a vocal critic of the WNBA, especially regarding its repeated mishandling of Caitlin Clark, one of the league's brightest stars. According to Brennan, Clark alone drives more than half of the WNBA's television audience and generates substantial revenue for the league. Her influence stretches far beyond scoring points on the court. She is a magnet for fans, advertisers, and media attention. Yet, despite her undeniable importance, the league has consistently failed to shield her from the harsh realities of targeted, aggressive play. Opponents frequently use physical tactics to intimidate Clark, testing her resilience with fouls that are often insufficiently penalized. This creates a frustrating paradox for her. If she reacts, she faces criticism. If she remains passive, she is labeled soft. In effect, Clark is forced to navigate a minefield every time she steps onto the court, a situation that no player of her caliber should have to endure. Her brilliance and visibility have inadvertently made her a target, exposing gaps in league policies and raising serious questions about how professional sports organizations protect their marquee talents. These lapses are far from minor inconveniences. They strike at the very heart of the WNBA's stability and long-term growth. Every injury Clark sustains is not only a personal setback for her, but also a blow to the league's credibility, revenue streams, and fan engagement. Her absence triggers declines in television ratings, dwindling ticket sales, and slower merchandise movement. Sponsors, who rely on her drawing power, often reassess their investments, while arenas that once buzzed with energy fall eerily silent. The league's over-reliance on a single player leaves it dangerously exposed, revealing a structural weakness that could undermine its future if left unaddressed. Brennan emphasizes that the WNBA's inability to protect Clark points to a pressing need for systemic reform. Clear, enforceable rules for player safety must be established and applied consistently across all games. Officials need to be empowered to act decisively against aggressive or illegal play, ensuring that top athletes can compete without fear of unnecessary injury. Beyond safety, the league must also strategically promote its stars, not only to maximize revenue, but to ensure the WNBA's sustainability and long-term appeal. Caitlin Clark's challenges are a wake-up call for the WNBA. They reveal that the league's current structure is fragile and highly dependent on one superstar to maintain its prominence. Protecting players of her caliber is no longer optional. It is essential for the health of the sport, the credibility of the league, and the continued growth of women's professional basketball. Unless decisive action is taken, the WNBA risks repeating cycles of boom and bust, leaving fans, players, and executives to confront the consequences of a system that has failed to safeguard its most valuable assets. Caitlin Clark's fate now mirrors the WNBA's future. But can the league truly survive if its success rises and falls solely on her shoulders? Did the Sky versus Liberty matchup expose a league on the brink of collapse? And what urgent reforms could secure a stronger, lasting future? Let's find out. A wake-up call. The Sky versus Liberty matchup was far more than just a disappointing game. It was a stark alarm bell signaling the fragile state of the WNBA. What was meant to be a marquee showdown, a highlight of the season, instead revealed a league on the edge of instability. Only around 200 fans filled the arena, leaving vast sections of empty seats that echoed with a silence rarely heard at professional sporting events. Television ratings had dwindled sharply, and the commissioner's visible frustration underscored the gravity of the situation. This game was not merely a statistical anomaly, it was a window into the league's precarious future. The WNBA stands at a crossroads, teetering between spectacular growth and sudden collapse, and the presence or absence of Caitlin Clark has become the determining factor. When Clark plays, arenas swell, television ratings spike, and excitement radiates through the sport like electricity. Without her, the league risks descending into emptiness, as the Sky versus Liberty game painfully demonstrated. Clark has emerged as the league's most valuable asset, not just a player, but a phenomenon whose talent, charisma, and leadership energize entire teams and captivate fans nationwide. Her influence is so profound that her absence does not merely remove a player from the court, it removes a cornerstone of the league's viability, leaving the WNBA exposed and vulnerable. The sight of just 200 spectators in what should have been a celebrated event is emblematic of the WNBA's over-reliance on a single star. The commissioner's walkout, whether literal or symbolic, only reinforced this perception. The league is fragile, and its current model is unsustainable. Without decisive action, this cycle of boom and bust, thriving when Clark plays and faltering in her absence, could continue indefinitely, threatening both revenue streams and fan engagement. For the WNBA to truly survive and thrive, change is no longer optional, it is urgent. The league must build stronger structures, starting with consistent rules that protect players from dangerous, aggressive play. Without safety, even the brightest stars risk being sidelined. Just as important is smart, deliberate promotion of its top talent. Players like Caitlin Clark should not be left carrying the league alone, but celebrated, marketed, and supported as the faces of the game. By safeguarding its athletes and strategically showcasing their appeal, the WNBA can reduce its heavy reliance on one superstar and create a stronger, lasting foundation. The Sky versus Liberty matchup will not be remembered for its score or standout plays, but for the troubling reality it revealed about the WNBA. Instead of excitement, the sight of empty seats and a frustrated commissioner walking out told a deeper story. It highlighted the fragile foundation of the league, a structure too dependent on a single star's presence to survive. What should have been a celebration became a warning. Without strong reforms, consistent protection for its top players, and smarter promotion, the WNBA risks losing not just fans, but its very future, vanishing one empty seat at a time. What do you think about the commissioner walking out at Sky versus Liberty? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.